All right. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
And welcome to Nerdy Gangsta's Gold Table Talk. Can I get a little whoop whoop? Well, tonight's theme is I am Nerdy Gangsta. We all kind of have on our I am Nerdy Gangsta shirts. But that is simply a positive affirmation of not only who we are, but what we are. You've seen some people, they do daily affirmations. They look in the mirror and they say, I am talented, I am gifted, I am beautiful. And that's our affirmation because we know that there is power in words. In fact, that there's a proverb that says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. And so we tend to internalize and whatever we think about ourselves, whatever we say about ourselves, whatever we wear for that matter, is sometimes ultimately what we become. And so today we are saying, I am Nerdy Gangsta. I am a conqueror. I am fierce. So that's our affirmation for today.
Yes.
Absolutely love it.
So you may say, well, what is Nerdy Gangsta? Well, Nerdy Gangsta is our clothing line that our family started. And first and foremost, our message is that it is super cool to be smart, to just continuously seek knowledge, to grow, to develop. But more importantly, we really want to inspire people. We want to inspire people to be innovative, to be driven, be bold, whatever your passions, your dreams, your aspirations are, just pursue them, be passionate about it, and use your talents to make a difference. So that is our mission at Nerdy Gangsta. And sometimes people kind of hear the word gangsta and they think of it kind of in a negative. Yeah. And I've gotten that. But for us, the gangster represents that perseverance, that persistence, that never give up spirit that you ultimately need to accomplish your goals. And so the name was coined initially by my daughter. It kind of started as a nickname that she gave to me. And she she gave an example and she said, Mom, and she kind of went back to a period in our lives that was very challenging. It was a period where my husband was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. And so she said, Mom, you didn't see obstacles. You saw opportunities. You just, no matter what negative things the doctors were saying, you stood on your faith. You just, read, researched, whatever we have to do to beat this thing, we about to do it. And so, long story short, 5 years later, whereas the doctor initially gave him 6 months to live, he is still here. No medicine, no chemo, nothing. So I take no credit. I am just so thankful to God for just giving all of us just the strength and that knowledge and just brought resources our way. Have you heard about this holistic thing or whatever, this trial? And so that's kind of our testimony of Nerdy Gangsta. And so we kind of took that and said, you know what, that's our journey, our purpose, but let's use that to inspire others. Because we all know that we're on this journey we call life, and we all, as we're discovering our purpose and our dreams, that we are going to have those situations. I mean, I initially thought my purpose in life was to be an engineer. That's what I went to school for. That's what I do every day. But sometimes life throws you a curveball, and God says, no, my daughter, I have another path for you. Surprise! Exactly. So, we just say, you know what? I mean, that was our journey, but we just want to inspire others to just whatever their purpose is, and if they, fall into challenging situations, to let them know that you can overcome, right? So that's why you guys are on here today, because you guys have some phenomenal stories, and you are doing some phenomenal things, and so I just really want us to just kind of be able to share those things in hopes that we can inspire others that maybe have the same type of journey, and maybe they can glean, some pearls of wisdom from some of our testimony. So, okay. So let me just say this before we get started. All right. So as I'm sitting and I'm thinking, okay, strategizing for this goal table talk. And I'm thinking, okay, what are we going to talk about? Which direction are we going to go in? And it just so happened it was the day of Nipsey Hussle's homegoing ceremony. And that day was just crazy. I'm in meetings, and they were, of course, live streaming the services. So I didn't see the whole thing. I kind of caught the tail end, and I was able to kind of see some clips. But just looking at just what he embodied, what he did, what he accomplished, and just how he inspired, how he empowered his community, I was like, that is straight up. That's nerdy gangster. Oh my God. And so, having a clothing line, they started talking about his clothing line. And, but they were talking about how he used his music, his businesses, his clothing line. That was just the platform. That was the vehicle that he was using to inspire others. Exactly. And so I have the clothing line, so I, kind of Googled his website. And the first thing that popped up was his picture, and it was a quote from him. And it said, look, I wrote it down so I wouldn't mess it up. The highest human act is to inspire. And I just got chills.
Yeah, that's rich.
Okay?
That's rich.
Like, for him to be so young, he got it. Mm-hmm. He knew that, okay, yep, I have this, musical career, but this is my purpose. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to use these vehicles to ultimately have that higher purpose, which is to inspire. Mm-hmm. And then they talked about his clothing line. It's called, the marathon clothing. And how he would always say, you've heard that saying, life is a marathon, not a sprint, right? Okay, so maybe a nerdy gangster, I'm Googling, okay, difference between sprint and marathon. So, all right, so sprint, I'm like, okay, I know that's a short race where you're going out fast. Okay, so technically, the definition is to run at full speed over a short distance, or a short foot race of usually less than a quarter of a mile in distance that is run at top speed. So you bolting out, running. I mean, it's a short race. So after that, you're done. You're burnt out, right? So it's like, why didn't he call his clothing line the sprint?
Right.
He called it the marathon. Because, he got it.
Yeah. Life's a marathon.
Life's a marathon. It is a long distance. And then I Google, okay, how long is marathon? 26 miles. Like, that's a long way. And when you're running a marathon, it is not for the faint of heart.
You have to pace yourself.
You have to pace yourself.
Be disciplined, too.
Hello. All of those life lessons, all of those tools that you need in this game called life, right? So not only do you have to pace yourself, but you have to be strategic.
Absolutely.
You may run a little, walk a little, jog a little, but ultimately it's not like that sprint where you just running, because you are going to burn out, but you have to be strategic. And so I just thought it was so profound that that's the name that he used, and how he just got it. He got this game that we call. I want you guys to test me for the talented and gifted class. And they, kind of hemmed and hawed, and he was persistent. He kept going back. I want you guys to test me. So finally, they tested him, and sure enough, he tested, and they placed him in the talented and gifted. But not only was he in the talented and gifted, but he ended up being valedictorian of his middle school class.
I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm telling you, like I said, I didn't see the whole thing, but the part that I did see, I was just nerdy gangster
Yeah.
all
day.
the way,
All day.
and it just, for me, it brought it home because I think too often our young people, when they are gifted, when they are smart, they're afraid to let their peers know for fear of maybe being teased and perhaps being even bullied, And so our message at Nerdy Gangsta is that no, it is cool to be smart. It is cool to be gifted. It is cool to be a Nipsey Hussle.
There you go.
Okay? So, that and I thought about that bullying thing, and I immediately thought about you, Tressa, because you have this phenomenal organization called Love Laces. And her organization is an anti-bullying organization, and it not only combats bullying, but cyberbullying. So can you just kind of tell us a little bit about your organization and the impact that you're making in the community?
So can I start with this quote that I found?
Yeah.
See how so that I thought, wow, like the synchronicity between yourself and myself, in terms of Love Laces and the vision and mission behind it, very similar to Nerdy Gangsta. And so when you brought up the Nipsey Hussle, and I was like, I didn't know who he was until he was shot. And just listening to all the stories behind and how he impacted his community, and it was never about his music, it was more about his work. And so I spoke at Cass Tech to 1,500 girls about 2 weeks ago. I did an empowerment session with them. And one of the quotes that I used, I didn't know it was Nipsey Hussle's, was this. Someone once said, if you look at the people in your circle, you don't get inspired, then you don't have a circle, you have a cage. I was like, ooh.
Wow.
Right? So I read one more time. So it said, someone once said, if you look at the people in your circle and you don't get inspired, then you don't have a circle, you have a cage. And so I was like, wow, that's powerful. Like, that was really powerful. Yeah. And after Nipsey's, after his transition, and somebody posted it and said it was his, and I thought, wow, this dude was incredible. Yes. And so about having Nipsey Hussles in our schools and in our communities, Love Laces was started from a personal experience. My son, I have 4 children, and I have 3 girls and 1 boy. And my son was being bullied, and it was in middle school. And he would come home and talk to me about it. And he didn't want me, like, I'm an educator by profession. So I know the language, I know what to do, from an administrator's perspective, a teacher's perspective. But as a parent, it's different. So it's like, all right, well, calling somebody's mama. And mama bear comes out. Do we need to pull out the boxing gloves? Like, what is going on? And of course, he didn't want mama to come to his rescue. No, let me do this. But seeing how it impacted him, I was like, okay, the first step is to call a counselor, let her know what's going on. And so we did that. We tried to work things out between the student and the parent, but the parent was just as, I'm going to use the word ignorant as her child. And so then I'm like, okay, What do we do? And so I, was praying and asking God, I need you to give me some direction, how to equip my son with the tools that he needs to combat this situation. And so I had, I was in one of my meditative states, and I thought of a shoelace. And because when a person is sad, they look down. And so what could be at their feet to remind them of all the great things that they are. And so in the shoelaces, we have positive affirmations that says, I am. So I am strong, I am a warrior, I am loved, I am great. And so I was, okay, cool. So I got that idea. And then the shoelaces light up. And so the light on the laces is to remind students or people when somebody tries to take you to a dark place, always remember there's a light inside of you. And so the light represents light, you're a light, and then the affirmation is to affirm that. And so I got online, Gangsta, and started Googling shoelaces and then light up laces, and I was able to find a manufacturer who could create it for me. And so I came up with this whole idea, and this was in October of 2017. And I entered this pitch competition to see how I could get this out there.